It's your boy D from DNC Digital, and back with another Instagram Live. Gonna be a fun one today. Gonna speak with one of the boss ladies of this promotion. So it's September 18th in Buda, Texas. Mission Pro Wrestling. Hell hath no fury. Bunch of awesome matches. So today's guest is Robyn Reid. Robyn Reid is a professional wrestler now. She's going to be in charge of booking and creative for Mission Pro Wrestling. So she put together all the matches. We're going to talk about that concept along with her career. She is the disciplinarian, the Black Diamond, Miss Robyn Reid. How you doing today, Miss?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good, good. Thanks a lot for taking the time out and talking to us. Going to go over your career, a bunch of stuff, and we're going to talk about Mission Pro Wrestling and what it means for the future. First and foremost, I do want to thank you because I think all parents, on behalf of all parents, I think we all want to thank you because we got a taste of it this past spring. You are a teacher
I
by
am.
profession. So thank you for doing that service. I, at one point, wanted to be a teacher, and then that happened, and I was like, this kind of sucks. And this is just one student, my
Yeah.
11-year-old daughter, and you are in charge of 20 to 30 students at a time. So talk to me about how that impacted you and how you see education in the near future with the virtual learning and that dynamic.
Oh man, right now it's a little chaotic still. Like we're still trying to get it together over here in Florida, and like we've been all over the news talking about it and stuff. Um right now I can tell you I'm doing blended. So it's like I'll have face-to-face kids, and then I'm also teaching kids, through virtual school, and we're just trying to balance it out. It's a little hard, but I think give us another week or so, and teachers, we're pretty good at adapting to anything. So
Is there any fear of maybe diminish with social skills, conversational skills with the kids? Maybe even mental health with the kids have been talked about so much with
mhm.
this whole pandemic thing. Is how do you approach that subject?
I can tell you when school, so they the dates kept moving. And so what they ended up doing is the first week of school, which started here virtually on August 10th. So the first 10 days, everybody had to go to school virtually. We did a mental health kind of check-in for the first 10 days. So every day we were doing something to check on the kids emotionally, physically, mentally. So I always like to check in with my students. I tell them every couple weeks I have them do this thing. And I got the idea from, I can't remember who it was, on Facebook, where they would like, okay, if you're doing great, check the red heart, or if you're doing, if you're depressed, you need someone to talk to, do this. So I do the same thing with my students, like every couple of weeks, just to check on them and make sure they're okay. And I've gotten a lot of students say that some say they don't know how to handle this because it sucks having to stay home, not talking to the friends. Some of them get it, but some of them just want to be out there. So it is like we're trying to help them as best as we can.
No, yeah, that's actually one thing that I thought about because with experience being used in this statement, there were teachers that you confide in a lot. There are teachers that you kind of stay after school or after class, like, hey, Mr. So and so, Mrs. So and so. Oh, hi to Thunder Rosa, by the way. Got the boss watching. Got to sit up
Hey,
straight.
Thunder.
Posture's good. Hands across. So there are kids that I'm sure unfortunately some things are happening at home, and they
Hmm.
need somebody to talk to. Do
Hmm.
you feel like this virtual thing will kind of make them stray away from that possibly?
It's kind of hard to say because some of my kids, like, some of them really need that attention. Like, they're not handling it well. And then some are just like, it is what it is. We'll, do the best we can, get through it, and, I just try to stay as positive as I can for my students. Like, hey, hopefully this stuff will clear up by this date so we can go back in and we can do like fun activities and stuff together. I teach middle school, And it's like that's really the years where they're starting to like really find themselves and hang out with
Oh
people
yes,
and
worst
stuff
years
like
of my
that.
life.
So
They were very formative.
yeah.
So Miss Reed, you were named head of creative for Mission Pro Wrestling, and then you were also named head of female talent for Generation Championship Wrestling in Florida. Are there any parallels with the amount of personalities you have to deal with, or collaborate with to get to a goal when it comes to teaching? And is there any parallels to the wrestling world when you have to book a show and you have a lot of people coming up to you with ideas and you're trying to get to a goal as well?
So are you saying like does teaching kind of tie into wrestling? Like are there
Yes.
similarities?
Yes.
Um, Honestly, off the top of my head, I would say not really. I feel like I have way more freedom when it comes to wrestling than I do with teaching. Teaching, they're very strict on, okay, this is the curriculum, this is what we want you guys to teach. With wrestling, it's like I have more freedom to really express how I feel about stories and things like that. So I would say that they're just off the top of my head, I would like to say that they're different. They're not too similar.
When I feel I read up that you've been in the wrestling business for about 6 years. It's relatively short when it comes to a wrestling career, and now you're starting to handle things behind the scenes. Can you tell me what the catalyst was for that decision that you decided that your contribution to wrestling is going to be, and I'm going to quote because it was a really cool quote, that you want to better the business from behind the scenes?
Yeah, I honestly, the first person that I had a conversation about it with was Big Swole. That
Okay.
was last July, and we were talking because I was feeding some ideas off of her, and I was just like, it was at that point where I knew that there really wasn't that much diversity behind the scenes. Not just diversity like looks like race wise, but also like there weren't that many females behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
you referred to Brandy Rhodes on social media as being the only one that you really saw.
Yeah, and even I think Stephanie McMahon came out and mentioned
Right.
something about that, and so I was just like, I feel like I could probably contribute even more if I get the opportunity to do things behind the scenes. You know what I mean? I'm big on giving people opportunities, especially those that I feel like have never really gotten a chance, and I know that they have talent. And so I wanted to, I'm not completely 100% retired from wrestling, but I'm starting to kind of shift my focus to behind the scenes to just to make a difference. You know what I mean? And be like, help, be a groundbreaker when it comes to diversity behind the scenes. I want people to look at me and say, yeah, Robyn Reid, like she did that shit. You see the show she booked, and you know what I mean? And just be known for giving people opportunities and not just shutting them down.
When it comes to your wrestling career, I want to go back to the beginning. Can you tell me, because you said it was just a random thought that you kind of thought out loud. You were watching wrestling with your nephew, and
Yeah.
you had kind of not watched in a while, and then you just said, I wonder if I can do that. And your ever so supporting father said, you're going to get your ass kicked. Can you tell
Yeah.
me how that moment came about, and what made a random thought be something that you actually started to chase toward?
We I I felt like it was something that would possibly bring me and my nephew even closer together. I was already very close to him, or I am very close to him. And like I said, I grew up watching wrestling. I never thought to actually step foot in the ring because I was like, yeah, I don't want to do it, but I love watching wrestling.
Yeah, right.
And so it was just, we were sitting down watching it, and I was like, at that point, I had just moved back from Atlanta, Georgia, trying to be a sports reporter. And I was like, I need to do something. I can't just sit here, and just wallow away. Like, I was, kind of sad for a little bit because it didn't pan out for me. And so I was like, I wonder if I could do wrestling. Like, you know what I mean? It was so random.
You credit Tessa Blanchard as being your coach. Can you tell me how instrumental she was to your career and your longevity in the business?
Um, Tessa helped me with like certain ideas, and there were times where she, you know, I did a seminar of hers and stuff like that. But my first female coach was actually Santana Garrett.
Santana
She was
Garrett.
my coach. Yeah, she was my coach for a couple years. Tessa, anytime I had a question about something, Tessa, what do you think about this idea? What should I do here? You know what I mean? Just kind of picking her brain a little bit. And she would always, you know, give me really good ideas. And I think it was her idea, if I remember right, it was her that came up with the idea of me being the disciplinarian. So it was pretty cool.
The disciplinarian is your character in WoW. Um,
Mm-hmm.
hey, Velvet joined in.
Hey,
So
girl.
when it comes to WoW, it's been there for so long. What do you credit the longevity to WoW?
David McLean just having the passion for it, you know, really believing in the product. He and Jeannie Bust, but especially him, he was really pushing for it, especially to get the TV deal. You know, there were times where it stopped for a little bit, then he would bring it back, and then it would stop, and then he started getting those women like Santana and Barbie Hayden and all of them, and they were like, "Hey, you know, you should try to get a TV deal with this." So he really believed in the product, no matter how long it took. He was like, he knew there was going to be a breakthrough at some point.
In an interview, you named Charlotte Flair as your favorite wrestler right now, but who was it when you first fell in love with wrestling? How did you get romanticized with the business? Who was the one that you gravitated toward?
Sting, Sting. I love Sting. Even still, like even till this day, like I love Sting. Um, Big fan of his. I remember I think it's the Beach Boy with
Oh, the
the
beach blonde,
blonde
the
short
flat top with
hair.
the
Yeah.
yes.
So I was like, as a little kid, like, cause I was a little kid, I was like, he's cute. Oh, I like him. Here's, you know. And so I just watched him, and I felt like even more in love with that character when he came out as like the Crow, you know, the Crow
Right.
Sting in WCW. So yeah, it was Sting for me. It was Sting.
Hey, I saw a really cool picture on your I believe it's your Instagram, and I think it just needs more context. It's a beautiful picture. Can you tell me about the time that you dressed up as Princess Tiana?
Oh yeah. That's when I was a teacher at Head Start. So I was working with 3 and 4 year olds, and it was Halloween. And I was like, there have been a couple times previous that I would dress up as Disney princesses, and I was I was searching high and low for a Princess Tiana dress, and I found it. It was not cheap, even though I rented it. It was not cheap, but I was like, the kids are gonna love it. I'm gonna do it anyway. I had to call my job and tell them that I was running late because I couldn't get the dress on. And so, thank God, my sister lived in the same town. She was in college. And I called her. I was like, hey, such and such, I need you to help. You know, I need your help getting this dress on because I'm struggling right now. I was literally fighting with the dress. And so she got it on me, and like as soon as I walked through the door with the crown and the frog and stuff, like the kids just went nuts, like they went crazy. So I love it.
You know, when it comes to Princess Tiana, you know, the thought in my mind brings up representation when it comes to mainstream movies, things for
Yeah.
kids. I want to talk about it was like 2 or 3 episodes ago of the New Day podcast, and they had Naomi on as a guest.
Uh-huh.
So Naomi was talking about that in the beginning they didn't want her to wear her real hair, they wanted wigs and they wanted it straight. And then
Mm-hmm.
now, in her last run, right before she came out, she had this beautiful, just beautiful afro. Her hair was all out, and she looked amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And she finally felt that she can be herself after gaining respect and notoriety from her peers. How
Yeah.
important is representation in the Black community when it comes to professional wrestling?
It's super important. Um, I was so excited when she came out and she had that fro.
It
Like
was beautiful. It was
it
just
was it was so big, and it was like, this is who I am. I'm proud. Like my hair is flapping all over the place. You guys didn't think I had hair, but this is me. You know what I mean? And it wasn't just the the black fans of wrestling that, you know, it caught their attention. It was people that don't even watch wrestling, because I saw like some like movie, like some celebrities and stuff were talking about it, and they were like, who is this black girl with this big hair, you know, wrestling and, you know, kicking ass. And so it's so important, especially as a person of color, to be out there representing for, you know, I hate to say, like, what, representing for your community. Because I know when I wrestle, I love when little black girls, expect, you know, little girls period, but little black girls will come up to me, and they come up and talk to me. Thank you. I want to, you know, I want to do what you're doing. You know what I mean? It's such a proud moment for me. Because, you know, growing, like when I was growing up watching it, it really wasn't that. I think Jacqueline is the one that stands out to me.
Yeah.
But
I
it
mean,
wasn't
I
that many.
remember Sapphire. I loved Sapphire. She had the
It's,
cool the
yeah.
little dancer. When it comes to the black community, you guys have a point of pride when somebody as beautiful as Naomi comes out and just says, "This is me," but it also can break down the barriers. Just a bunch of little kids saying, like, "Man, her hair looks cool," and I can't imagine how important it must be for you to have somebody from another race now appreciate something that they may have stigmatized in the past.
Yeah, it is. That's why they're starting to become like, you're starting to see more and more girls like rock the afros and stuff like that. You know, I'm only wearing this right now. This is weave. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's weave. Uh, but I got a head full of thick hair under here. You know what I mean? I just had to hurry up. I didn't get a chance to like wash it yet. But you know what I mean? I love seeing afros. I love seeing afros. I love seeing braids, the cornrows, the twists. I love seeing it all, and that people are accepting it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so I love it.
I want to talk about something a little more mainstream and just worldwide. You know, you can say as big as the universe. Unfortunately, we lost Chadwick Boseman just a couple days ago, and not to be ignored, but we also lost Cliff Robinson, former NBA
Yeah.
player, the next day in the morning. May
Yep.
they both rest in peace. Immediately when I read the news, I immediately jumped on YouTube and I saw that clip of people speaking to a Black Panther poster. And Chadwick Boseman was in the back with Jimmy Fallon, and they surprised him. And some of those things were so emotionally charged and so like heartfelt. And they talked about, there was a woman who brought her son, and the kid was like 13 years old, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Thank you for giving my boy somebody to look up to." And there were beautiful Black women and very handsome Black men talking about this is what we needed. Can you tell me
You
how his
broke up a
passing
little bit.
impacted you? I'm sorry. Yeah, my mom's calling me. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Say the question one more time.
Can you tell me how his passing impacted
It was, honestly, I would put it on the same level as when Kobe passed away. That's how the, you know, not only myself, but that's how the Black community is taking it right now, because he was something that a lot of people really didn't want to give a chance to believe in. And so he even did an there was even an interview that said that, you know, he was fighting for, you know, the accents and everything in the movie, because they didn't want there to be an accent, no accents or anything. And he was like, no, there, you know what I mean? There should be an accent with this character. And so people were just, you know, kind of, before it came out, like, oh, you know, whatever. But then they got behind it, and they weren't expecting a Black man to portray this superhero to that level. You know what I mean? Because there's, I think Blade might be the only other character that I can think of that is considered like a
Yeah,
superhero.
yeah,
And but this guy, the Black Panther, it it caught so many people off guard at how successful it was, and the way he represented it was so classy. You know what I mean? And he he played the character so well, and just how he carried himself in other films, not just that film. So that's why we, like the Black community, is taking it really hard, and it is kind of up there on the same level as when Kobe died, because we didn't have that representation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so it's just
understood.
like we finally got a person that looks like us, and he was in I think the works to film another Black Panther movie, and he just passed away, and he was busting his ass filming all these other movies, all these other powerful Black movies, and he was sick the whole time. So that's why it's hurting us as a community, especially. It hurts. It's hurting the comic book universe a lot, but it's really impacting the Black community as well.
It must have just felt like, I can only use the word validation when he popped up in the Marvel universe, and this very strong character just happens to be Black. Like the whole Black thing isn't part of it. He's the Black Panther, and he's a superhero. I want to talk about another moment of validation. You put up on social media how excited you were when you saw Wild trending. What did it mean to you when you saw that, when you saw Wild trending and you were a part of that?
I was honored. I tell you, when we were filming, and that first, like, well, the last night of filming, after everything had been, filmed and taped and stuff, David McClain came in there, did a big speech. Everybody was just bawling because he really fought for us. And he was like, it's not just, I didn't want just one specific kind of girl. I wanted short girls, tall girls, thick girls, thin girls. He was like, I wanted that diversity. And Wild's locker room is super diverse. So to see it trending, to be a part of history, I was very honored, and I was very humbled that I was given that opportunity.
From WOW being an all-women's promotion to Mission Pro Wrestling, every position in that company is going to be held and is held at the moment by a woman. And I will never stop saying it. The closer we get to it, the more important I realize it is. And I'm honored to be a part of it as a sponsor, to be supporting you guys. No, of course, all this stuff I'm saying is just bonus. Me getting to know you and like messaging Thunder Rosa like every day, like, oh my God, like this is nuts. That's all bonus stuff. I see what's going on, and I just feel like, Thunder Rosa's in the front of a ship and just yelling, and she's not gonna shut up in the best way. Like, she's saying that we are coming. Can you tell me about Thunder Rosa's tenacity and how you guys gel together?
Yeah, I've known Thunder Rosa for like about 4 years. And man, she is and I even told her this the other day when I spoke to her. I told her, I said, you are a hustler. And you are the definition, or you're the epitome of a hustler, in the sense of, you really want something to work, and you go out there and you do whatever it takes to make that happen. You know what I mean? You see this girl, she's not resting on her butt. She's doing interviews all over the place. She got this big match coming up, and she's still wanting to get stuff done with her promotion. And she's working with all these other people to especially make Mission Pro a success. And I told her that I'm going to ride with you, and I'm going to help you make this as great as it can freaking be. And she is a go-getter. You know what I mean? And I told her that, and I told her, I was like, you are getting everything that you deserve right now. This is your time. You know what I mean? You've been working your tail off for years in this business and getting overlooked. And I remember calling one of her matches at, I believe, Ladies Night Out. And one of the announcers said that, she's underrated. And I said, she's extremely underrated. You know what I mean? She's one of the best unsigned talents in the country. And the fact of the matter, she's not sitting here and she's not complaining. She's going out showing you why she deserves to be looked at as one of the top talent, not just in the country, but in the world. And so she's a hustler. She's a go-getter. And I have no choice but to respect that.
Women historically have been fighting for their spot. And thankfully, it's been happening that spots are being taken up by women, and rightfully so. So you do the first female presidential candidate You do the U.S. soccer team. You got Ronda Rousey being the first woman to headline a UFC pay-per-view. First women's Royal Rumble, first women tag team champions, with the exception of the tag team championships that they had in the past. Let me ask you this: when the firsts are done, what comes after that? When all the barriers are being broken and all the firsts are all done and they're out of the equation, where do you go from there?
I don't want people to stop. You know what I mean? And not just me. I'll never stop, no matter what, because that's just like saying once you reach a goal, what do? Do you just stop?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah.
you set another goal. What's your next goal? You know what I mean? You should always set goals. Even if I were the first person to be signed to, write or do whatever anywhere, I that will never stop. You know what I mean? Goals don't stop. And so once you reach one, you have to set another one. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's like, what are you working for? You know what I
I
mean? And then
understand.
people start getting complacent. And so no matter if you set 5 goals and you hit all of those goals, you have to set another 5 goals. You know what I mean? You have to keep going. You always want to get better and be better.
I don't know if you watched this show, but my girlfriend makes me sit down and watch Pose with her. And it turns out that it's a
Pose?
Pose. Yeah, it's about the gay community, and like I think it's the 1980s New York City. And it turns out it's a great show. It's really well written. And a friend of mine, Lauren Collin, she does red carpet interviews in New York, and she got to interview one of the characters, who's a transgender woman. And she's like, "You guys finally made it." And she turned around and she told her, she's like, "We haven't made it yet. We've only accomplished things. We haven't made it because when you make it, you're done. You're gonna stop." And I feel like that's what's gonna happen with you guys. Mission Pro is like just it's so exciting, and I'm just really happy to be a part of it. What do you want people to walk away with after the show is done? What do you want people to say to themselves in that car ride on the way home?
I want them to say, I want them to be like, damn, when's the next show? Like,
Uh-huh.
that's literally, they don't even have to have like a super long conversation. It's just, I want them to be like, when is the next show? I can't wait to see what else they have planned. And I got some stuff in mind. You know what I mean? It's so
It's it, it's
I
good that
want
we
them.
it's
Go
good
ahead.
that we talk about that because I want to know how these matches came up in your mind. One of the more interesting ones for me, and I'm excited to watch, is Jenna Van Muscles versus Roxy because it's David and Goliath, with lack of a better term.
Yeah.
What made you look at this roster and do the mix and match? Did you go through different iterations of the card before you came up with your final card?
Uh, a smidge. I'll say a smidge. I know when we had to tweak 1 or 2 matches, because things come up, and that's just part of the business. You know what I mean? Where somebody might have to pull out for certain reasons, or things like that. Um, I I feel like I can visualize certain people working together. And especially when it's people that have never really worked together. I think majority of this card has either they've never worked each other, or they may have worked each other once in the past or something.
Okay.
And so I like to see new matchups, and visually, like, exactly, when that's one of the thoughts that I want people to get when they see, for example, that match with Jenna Van Muscles versus Roxy. It's like, you got this big powerhouse girl, and then you have Roxy, who's quick.
But
She's
Roxy's no joke,
tiny.
though. Roxy's no joke.
Yeah, right. Yeah, she could go with you. And so it's like, okay, who's gonna come out on top in this battle? You know what I mean? Roxy is like one of Texas's sweethearts, and then you got this girl coming in that's never wrestled in Texas before, and it's like now she's getting ready to come in. Like, I'm getting ready to come in your territory, and I'm getting ready to take this W. What are you gonna do about it? So I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited.
I'm one of the guys that has the network going on all day. I got Payback playing right now, but so I've been binging WrestleManias lately for the past few weeks,
And when you look back, I didn't notice when I was a kid, but when you look back now in hindsight, you're like, man, look at the story that they're really telling in the ring. There's this. I was just watching Jericho and Shawn Michaels, and my girlfriend caught it. She's like, Jericho is dead set on being better than Shawn Michaels, but that is his idol, so it's gonna be a different kind of mountain to climb. And how do you attack your idol like that? And I was like, oh God, I love you. But when it comes to stories being told, recently on an episode of Grill and JR, I think that's the name of his podcast, Jim Ross kind of did an analogy of wrestling today with stand-up comedy. If you do joke and joke and joke and joke and joke, you don't let anybody breathe or take in the joke, then the art is kind of lost. In your opinion, as a booker and as a head of creative, do you feel like the storytelling is somewhat getting lost in the midst of all this high spots?
It is. Just being like super blunt, it is. And having trained at Booker T school, I have such an old school mentality. And I picked it up from him because I trained at a place before I got to Booker's. And that's where, I was focused heavily on doing moves. You know what I mean? And I got to Booker school. Booker was like, I would rather you have 3 good spots than seven to 10 flippy spots and all that stuff, whatever. And then something could go wrong. I would rather you tell the story. So when I started training at Booker's, that was my mentality. Anytime I was putting together a match with anyone, that was always my mentality. Okay, the story. You need to give the fans a few seconds to digest what just happened. You know what I mean? I understand. And some people are hella good at, the high spots. Like, that's their thing. But in hindsight, if you ask that person that just watched that match 30 minutes to an hour after that match has happened, what can they tell you happened in that match? You know what I mean? There was no time for stuff to kind of marinate. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm not dumping on any match that, if that's your thing, that is your thing.
Yeah, because it is a subjective point of view. I mean, it's dope. Like, I love watching it. But there are stories when you watch old school stuff, there are stories and you're more emotionally invested in, like, whoa, like, you're more reacting to 57 super kicks and 83 near falls,
Yeah, that's the thing. You want to be different. You know what I mean? Tell the story. Like, one of the people I'm a huge fan of, and it's so funny. Just his character is Orange Cassidy. Like,
I love that guy.
Like,
genius.
He
Genius.
doesn't really have to do anything, and I'm just like, it's entertaining as hell. And I'm drawn to the characters like that, like Velveteen Dream. Like, you know what I mean? He's not, I don't necessarily consider him like a big flyer, I guess you could say, but his character, I look at
when I feel like when he pulls out the high flying stuff, it makes it more exciting because he holds it back a little bit. That guy's like Prince reincarnated.
But he doesn't overdo it, though.
Right, he doesn't overdo it. Yeah.
But like I said, that's just my opinion. I'm big on storytelling because I want the fans at the end of the night to really understand what just happened and not forget what happened. You know what I mean? So when I'm, coming up with these matches and stuff, I like to reiterate that. And then being at WoW is very heavily based on the stories and the characters. You know what I mean? Of course, there's going to be some moves and some flying and stuff like that, which is great. But at the end of the day, I feel like the story got lost. I feel like we're slowly kind of getting back to that, though.
That's good, and I'm glad that you're a part of that, and you're gonna take that old school mentality that you've learned and make this company what I know it's gonna be. When it comes to reality of wrestling, I've spoken to a lot of the ladies that have trained under him, and he was there on the kickoff show tonight. When you go through his characters, Booker T and the five-time, and then King Booker, the guy had a sense of humor about himself. And when he went into commentary, you realized how those wheels turn.
Yeah.
Can you tell me something about Booker T that most people might not know that maybe surprised you after you met him?
Uh, Booker can be kind of silly. I don't know if too many people he could be kind of silly. Um, he can be a goofball. Like he'll joke, and because he knows a lot of people look at him really serious, and so he'll kind of mess with people a little bit because nobody wants to make Booker. You know what I mean? They don't want to mess up in front of Booker. And so what he'll do is he'll act like he'll come in the room being super loud, and then he'll stop, look around, and he'll be like, "Nah, I'm just playing." You know what I mean? So that's just his thing or whatever. So he can be serious, but a lot of the time I think he prefers to be kind of silly.
A lot of people have told me that he's taken a real dad role with everybody there. That he has such a dad energy, and he wants to take care of everybody and
He
make sure their
does, yeah.
future is good. We're coming to the tail end of this interview. I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to us. I know you got to go because I know you got minds to mold. But there are some things that I learned about you that I'd like to find out. Just a few questions.
Okay.
I looked up past interviews and some of your social media. So, if you were to hang out with Angela Bassett, where are you guys going for lunch?
Oh my God. uh, I have to take her to the fanciest restaurant ever, Olive Garden. I'm just saying.
What the hell?
No.
Oh my God, that is Angela Bassett. That woman is a queen. She is this beautiful, like non-aging woman that has
Hey,
stayed the same age for the past 87 years.
I don't know. She fancier than I am. I'm like, give me like Applebee's or Olive Garden. I'm good. Like so.
Jesus, that woman deserves a glass of wine and a good steak. Um, what is your favorite? You know what? Because everybody has these guilty pleasures, and when they're cleaning, they're listening to this, or when they're traveling, they're listening to that. Can you
Yeah.
tell me what is your favorite? And you know what? Today's the VMAs, and I'm pretty sure that 20 years ago that these guys have performed on that show. What is your favorite Backstreet Boy
Oh
song?
yeah. Oh God. Oh man. I can't pick just freaking one. Um. Oh shit. All I God. I just there's so many. All I have to give. I Want It That Way. The Perfect Fan. Shape My Heart. Time. Everything. All the albums. Black and Blue. Backstreet Boys. All that. Man. I'm bumping all that shit. As a matter of fact. Crap, I think my CDs are in the car. I got their CDs. Yep,
Still
I
got the
sure do.
CDs? That's
I
a
got the
fan.
CDs.
That's
Yep.
a fan. For those watching, CDs are these crazy little circular things that we used to put into radios to listen to music. I remember when they were out, I was like, man, I'm not going to listen to that. But
Yeah.
10 years later, when you got a couple beers in you and karaoke's hitting, man, I killed I Want It That Way. When I
Yep.
Want It That Way came on, I was, oh my God.
Oh, you think
Jeez.
it's a joke? You think it's a joke?
Wow. Look at you. Miss Robyn Reid, the head booker for Mission Pro Wrestling, boss lady behind the scenes. Thank you so much. Let everybody know where they can find you on social media besides Instagram here.
All right. So Instagram, if y'all haven't seen it, is the THEE.black.diamond. If you want to follow my WoW character, that's going to be WoW_disciplinarian. Twitter is _Robyn Reid, all one word, and Facebook is Robyn Reid.
Awesome, and this is so all of my followers, if you're watching, follow Robyn Reid right here. I think that's where our names are. All of Robyn's fans follow me right here
I'm not
because
good with
I need the
directions.
support. I think we're up here somewhere. So this
Yes,
is all
follow
going to be on
DNC
YouTube. So make
Digital.
sure you guys like, comment, and share. Subscribe because your boy needs numbers to look good. The talent is already there. I just need other people to know me. That's it. Like I do these awesome interviews.
DNC Digital. Please give him a follow.
I am a proud sponsor for Hell Hath No Fury, going down September 18th in Buda? Is it Buda or Buda?
Buddha. Buddha.
Buda, Texas, Pinball's Kingdom. A lot of amazing matches, and that's thanks to this lovely woman here. I got one last thing to ask for. you're very sweet, and I loved our conversation. But can you give me that disciplinarian scowl real quick? Because I was like, is that her? Like she's smiling, and the other one's.
The whole time, right? Okay. Hold on. I'm getting a character.
Get in character. Just pretend I'm not following the rules right now. My God, look at that thing. Look at that. The disciplinarian.
Hughes. I got that from Mr. Hughes.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. I was gonna ask you if you got it from because Mr. Hughes used to come out with Jericho. Like I'm like, man, is his face stuck like that? Look at this guy. Like he never broke character. I loved it. That's Robyn Reid. I know you got work to do, so go ahead and do that. You guys have a great night. Everybody take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time. What's today? Sunday? Yeah, today's Sunday. So Tuesday I will be having Holiday on Instagram Live, and everybody's warning me about her, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be an interesting interview. Yeah, I can't wait. Thursday we're going to have Brian Cervantes on. Sunday we're having other people. I'm going every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. We're doing Instagram Lives with everybody from Mission Pro Wrestling. Everybody have a great night. Miss Robyn Reid, take care of yourself.
Bye.